Today I'll be talking about the career domains in luxury. Now, luxury sounds a very fascinating concept, and believe you me, it actually is. But what hurts is the fact that people actually don't understand the real concept about luxury. So today I'll help you break it down and understand the kind of scopes you have as a luxury professional, and the kind of opportunities which will be available in the future. So stay tuned in and understand the kind of opportunities you have. So starting with what luxury basically is. If I were to explain to a layman, luxury is just about sophistication. And take it from me as a person who has actually worked in the industry and studied and observed a lot of professionals, that everyone who understands luxury will always go towards the elegance of it and sophistication. When I speak of careers, literally you name a career and I can tell you how you can work in the industry. Starting with the most basic ones, you always confuse luxury with fashion. Luxury is about fashion. What is common between luxury and fashion is that fashion is dynamic, it's never still, and so is luxury, it can never stay still. When we say that things go out of fashion, things fall out of trend and they are not luxurious anymore, if it's safe to say so. A common notion is that people think that luxury is all about opulence. It's not. Luxury is more about the experience of it. There was a study a few years before, and I took that study further as well. The idea was to understand that luxury is all about experience. So when I say experience, that is the major domain of careers you should be looking at. So when I say fashion, of course you can be a designer, work in the industry, work for the biggest of luxury brands altogether. That's one way, but that is not just the only way. If I'm looking at fashion, I can be a fashion curator. I can collect stuff which is rare, exotic. I can be a personal shopper, help people get what they want. Trust me, it's such a big profession altogether now. Some of the professionals in the world have made it big just by shopping for others. It's not an easy job at all. You can be a trendsetter by working with a fashion or luxury magazine. For example, Vogue for that matter. If you're working for Vogue, you have to follow trends, you have to attend fashion shows and see what the luxury consumers want. Because if a person has that much wealth they want to spend, you need to be true to that and help them out and get whatever they want. There was a very interesting saying that I heard once, that as a luxury professional, you need to understand and be trustworthy. If a person is spending that much money and going on your word, if you're working in the industry, you should be true to them. That is the idea behind it, and I think that is valid to any profession. Now, some other professions that you won't even ever think about is the fact that, let's look at art for that matter. Now, art is also about luxury. It's a freedom of expression. You can be a museum curator. You can help people collect art. That is also a form of luxury profession. Public relations is a big way. If brands are launching new products or new collection or launching a boutique, PR becomes a whole different aspect. Communication side of it is great. That is where PR and media comes in. Let me break it down to you. For example, if you are working as a PR professional generally, it's very different than you're working for one of the biggest brands, because the kind of expertise you need is something else. A luxury professional needs to be empathetic. They need to understand what a person wants. If, for example, if a person is walking in to buy a ring to propose to someone, you need to be honest to them and help them out. So that way you need to be empathetic towards the cause and why are they coming in, why are they purchasing. The biggest advantage of being a luxury professional is the fact that you don't need to worry about people coming to you, because you are one of the biggest brands possible, so the brand sells for itself. But how do you make it special? What is your role as a professional? Be it anything. If you work as a sales professional, as a content manager, as a marketing person, what you have to do is that create a relationship with the clients, and that is what goes a long way for a luxury professional. So whatever you want to do in the luxury industry is all possible, but you have to be empathetic. You need to learn to listen. You have to be really patient and one thing is very important: the client is never wrong until they are. And there's a very fine line between that. If you abide by the rules, you will never be at the wrong side, but you have to always listen to the client and help them out in the best possible way. It's the experience of visiting a luxury store and buying a product that counts, not the product anymore. So for example, if I go to a store, I might forget about the product I bought, but I will never forget about the experience you get. So you have to understand that you have to create that experience. Even if you are just a person who's handling the operations. Operations is a great side of luxury as well. What does an operations manager actually do? They order the stock. If it gets over in the store, they manage that. That's a very important thing. You have to understand the lead time. Like any other profession, supply chain is a very popular industry for luxury professionals. A very recent growing trend is sustainable luxury. I can't even tell you the kind of opportunities you'll have if you get into sustainable fashion and luxury. So what you really do is you have to understand that whatever activities your brand is doing are sustainable. Some of the biggest brands do not source anything which is not ethically sourced. They have literally a protocol against this. if I look at the biggest of leather brands and jewelry brands, they do not go and mine and extract leather and diamonds from places where it will harm the animals or the nature. So such kind of things you can look at. I'll tell you a very interesting fact as well. If you are a chartered accountant, who is stopping you from working in a luxury brand? Nobody. Literally what you have to just do is do the same profession. If I become a CA or ACCA and want to practice the same thing, of course you can. There's no one stopping you. It's just that you need to come with extra set of skills. You need to communicate really well. Your communication too has to be at the peak. Because one very interesting fact I've observed working in the industry is you can never estimate or assume the power of people working into a luxury brand store, be it anywhere in the world. These people are CEOs, royalties, heads of states. So you can expect literally anyone, biggest of businessmen, and you cannot. Another very important thing is you cannot treat one client. You cannot discriminate between clients. For example, if an actor or actress walks in tomorrow to a store, you cannot be like, okay, I'll attend to them first and the other people later. That is not part of the job. You have to treat everyone equally and equal respect. Of course, unless it's the president of a country, then it of course changes, goes without saying. But what I'm trying to portray is any profession is possible in the industry. It's that flexible. There are luxury photographers working for magazines. There are editors. For example, Mr. Kim Jones is the head of GQ. You can work for the magazine and write about the luxury trends. There's so much. Especially with COVID happening now, the industry is going to literally reshuffle and so much has to be rethought. Digital creation is going to come into the picture big time. It already is. So you should look at creative ways of sticking around in the industry, brand management, how different brands govern themselves in the market, how their image is portrayed, brand positioning. These roles are all available. Luxury, there's if a role of fashion buyer exists in the fashion industry, luxury buyers actually assume and control how these things are governed. There's so much to be done. If you are a lawyer, you can work in compliance and deal with the legal counsel of luxury brands. Every profession has a counterpart. Hospitality is such a big industry. Travel is such a big industry for luxury professionals. There's a whole different set of qualities that a professional requires to work in this industry. And to be very honest, you can absolutely do that just by acquiring the extra skill sets and understanding. Omni-channel management is one of the very important aspects of a luxury business. Every brand follows that. So look out for options which are readily available and which will be there. So literally just think of any profession and see how it fits in well, because it really does. Luxury is just a step further than any other industry. It's more about the experience you give to the clients, and that is what it is about. That being said, every profession can think about working in the industry. It's just about how serious you are about yourself. It's more about being a more professional person, simply put. And I would end it by saying that luxury as a profession is flexibly rigid. I know that's an oxymoron, but that's true. You have to follow the rule, that's why it's rigid, but you have to be creative. That's what makes it flexible, to give a better experience to clients in every possible way. So that's it for now. If you have any queries about the kind of careers you can make in luxury, I know there's a lot I spoke about. If you're not clear about something, you can definitely reach out to us at www.mindler.com and we'll be more than willing to help. Thank you so much.